Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 10 at Keeneland on Friday, the Grade 1 Breeders Cup Juvenile Turf. $1 million is the purse. We're going a mile on the weeds. Let's take a look at this full field of 14, and it is a very competitive race led by Silver Knot, who goes out for trainer Charlie Appleby, who seemingly wins every big turf race with the Godolphin horses that he ships to North America. And Silver Knot's coming into this race in very good form.
Yeah, coming in off a Group 3 win where I thought he ran very well, Dan. Just for connections that you can really rely on when they show up over here. This horse looks to have a good amount of ability. He's got a huge pedigree. It feels like, maybe he's landing in the right kind of spot too, because I'm not so sure that the American-based horses are actually that good.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector and see how this will shake out. Obviously, the European horses will lack pace data. Gaslight Dancer, I believe this race was a second preference. I think Michael Maker wanted to run this horse in the juvenile turf sprint, didn't get in. He's here. He's got a break from post position 14, but he's also stretching out. He has a good amount of early speed. Curly Larry and Mo is stepping up off a speedy maiden win. Those two horses should be forwardly placed.
They should. I mean, Gaslight Dancer kind of feels like they don't have that many options with him drawing the far outside. This horse's turf debut 2 starts back was a really good performance.
Horses with tactical speed include Paxa Wallop, who seems to work out a good trip every time he runs, and Najarok, who's going to be stretching out off a nice trip win in the Grade 3 Futurity. But let's start things off with one of the Europeans. It's Victoria Road for the very familiar international tandem of Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien. And this horse started off like he was going nowhere fast. 4 straight losses for an Aidan O'Brien 2-year-old, almost unheard of. But he's now won 3 in a row, and it looks like he's figuring the game out. Last time out in a Group 3 race going a mile and an eighth, Mike, he broke real sharp, then he swung widest, and he got the job done. I think he's improving.
I do too, and it feels like the distance, the stretch out and distance has really been the key for him. Now he draws the rail. He's a horse who has shown decent tactical speed over there. He's won races from up close. He's run races from further back off the pace, and he's a really strong finisher. There's a lot to like about this horse.
And if Ryan can get Victoria Road out of the gate, he might be able to work out a nice pace-tracking, ground-saving trip going into the first turn. The 4th finisher of the last race came back to place in a Group 2 in Italy. The 6th-place horse came back to finish second in a listed race in France. If he doesn't break quickly and get the coveted garden pocket spot, Paxa Wallop might, as he did last time out in the Grade 3 Zuma Beach. Mike Smith did everything right as Paxa Wallop made it 3 for 3 on turf. He broke well. He settled in the pocket. He got away from a big long shot pace setter and got to the outside on the backstretch. And Paxa Wallop's just too good for this group.
Yeah, he is. I'm not going to knock any of his 3 turf starts. He's run well in all of them. I thought very convincing wins all 3 times. He's also had great trips in his races. And it's, to me, more than anything else, Dan, it's just hard to get a handle on, the kinds of horses he's been running against. To me, they just don't look like very strong races overall.
Talk about good trip. How about Curly Larry and Mo's maiden win at Keeneland on October the 15th? This is a New York bred, was racing in a turf route for the first time. The jock somehow got him to go 49-1 on the half without any kind of pressure, and Curly Larry and Mo sprints on home as he's supposed to.
Right, certainly took advantage in this race, but it was enough to earn him his way into this field. I doubt he makes the lead this time, Dan, although I suppose it's possible. Either way, he's got a lot of improving to do.
Silver Knot is up next for Godolphin and Appleby, already a multiple Group 3 winner this year. He won the Autumn Stakes last time out. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finishers of that race came back to run 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in that order in a Group 1 stake. So this horse has kept good company. It's all about, will he break well? Will he settle and find a good trip? Because if he does, he is a major threat.
Yeah, he's a huge player in here. He's only lost twice, both of them. He's lost to the same horse both times, and that horse, Chaldean's, probably one of the best 2-year-olds in Europe. He came back to win a Group 1 most recently. He's a really good horse, and this horse has just run well in all of his starts, and I particularly liked his win last time where they rode him a little conservatively, but once they took him to the outside, he really came with a good finish.
Sugar McGahe's got some good 2-year-old turf horses this year. Battle of Normandy was a debut winner at Saratoga. He just missed in the With Anticipation, although all in all, I thought the trip was there. The pace wasn't perhaps for him. Last time out in the Pilgrim, wide over a wet track, maybe that was enough of an excuse to dirty him up and set him up for a good performance here.
Yeah, I think that's if you want to bet him, I think that's the way you have to look at him. It was pretty hard to tell. I thought overall the trip was fine, Dan. He just really didn't do any running. And so maybe it was the yielding turf that he just didn't care for. His first two starts I thought were good. I didn't think they were great.
Curly, Larry, and Mo got loose at Keeneland, and the winner got a big pace setup to win the Grade 2 Bourbon, the local prep for this race going a mile and a 16th. Let's watch, and the winner they blazed the trail, opening quarter 22-1, 45-4 for the half, and the pace setters are tired, not, and the winner he rolls by them late.
Oh, yeah, he's going to come here and overtake these horses at the end. I guess this was a step in the right direction, Dan. A horse who I thought was really impressive when he won sprinting in his debut back in April. I didn't think he ran as well at Saratoga when they moved him back to turf, but obviously he rebounded last time.
The third finisher from that race, the 7 Really Good, is back in here. I think this horse is still a little bit green. I think he showed that at Kentucky Downs 2 starts back when he was kind of herded inward a bit in the stretch. He just didn't like it, was drifting. Last time out in the Bourbon, again, making up ground, but the pace was there for him.
Yeah, had a great setup in that race and just couldn't really make an impact, although he did get up for third at the end. I liked his debut win, but he had a great setup there. They went a solid pace in front of him. He got a clean trip and he got the job done. I don't know that he's improved all that much since then, Dan.
Let's talk about the Chad Brown trainee. I'm Very Busy. Debut winner at Saratoga as the favorite. He was no secret. He shows up in the Pilgrim. He's favored again, and he gets beat by Major Dude, a race in which he loomed so boldly at the 8th pole. He had all the momentum. It looked like he was going right on by, and Major Dude said no, and I have to admit, I'm Very Busy, meekly complied.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed. Now, I will say that maybe he was ridden a little bit conservatively in that race. They waited an awful long time before they produced him on the outside. I still don't know how much of an excuse it is, though, Dan. I was a little disappointed he didn't get the job done. It's also worth noting it was over yielding turf, and I guess that could be an excuse, too. His debut was a pretty strong performance. I won't be surprised when he rebounds.
I'm expecting a good performance from I'm Very Busy. We'll look at the last race in a bit. Najarak is up next. He's won 2 sprints for Graham Motion. Now he's going to stretch out. He has the pedigree to do so. Let's watch the Grade 3 Futurity last month at Aqueduct. Very nice trip from Manny Franco. Tucked in behind on the backstretch, angles out for clearance into the lane, and Najarak gets it done in between horses.
Yeah, he's going to forge up here to get it done off of a really, really good trip in this race. That's Gaslight Dancer, the 7, who's in the yellow cap right to his inside. He was up with the pace all the way. I don't know. He gets the job done here, Dan. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence the way he finished that he's going to stretch out that effectively. And you're also dealing with a race where 5 of them hit the wire together.
I was just going to say it. We usually kind of downgrade these blanket finishes, although they happen more often on turf than dirt, but 5 on the wire in the Futurity. Web Slinger scored first time around 2 turns. That was the now for trainer Mark Cassie at Monmouth Park. Let's watch Web Slinger. Oxymore was the favorite in this race, and he is engaging the leader, turning into the stretch. Web Slinger is getting up there on the outside. I guess the pace was legitimate, and maybe Oxymore just didn't see this trip out, but Web Slinger is extending nicely.
Yeah, he is. He's really game to run this horse down. It does sort of feel like Oxymore didn't really want to go the mile, but still, this horse ran the race that he ran. It was a good performance. We have seen a couple of horses, though, Dan, exit that race since and not really run all that well. That concerns me a little bit.
Reckoning Force seems to be getting a little bit better with each start. He won a stakes race as a maiden at Kentucky Downs. I thought the trip was there for him that day, but he was very game. I think he had an excuses-filled trip in the Bourbon last time out.
I agree. I mean, he's the kind of horse who had a big price. Maybe you want to be a little forgiving of his last race because nothing went his way in there. When he broke his maiden 2 starts back, listen, it was a step in the right direction, Dan. Just another race, though, where I just thought he was kind of more game than anything else. I wasn't, blown away by the effort.
He'll get blinkers on for the first time. Very good trainer in Brendan Walsh. Mo Stash just missed sprinting last time out in the Indian Summer. We're going to watch that race. He was a little bit slow out of the gate. He was far, far behind turning into the stretch. He's going to come with a pretty strong late rally to finish second. Now, a lot of times these are mirages when they stretch out in distance. Maybe these late running sprinters just don't have the same kick going long. He deserves an opportunity to stretch out.
He does. He runs on fine in this race. You can see him there sort of getting over behind horses too, and maybe that cost him a little. I don't think he was going to win regardless. And I also just didn't, more than anything else, I didn't really feel like anyone was finishing that strongly in that race.
Major Dude is up next. He won the Pilgrim over I'm Very Busy. It was his turf debut. He caught yielding ground. He broke very well, and he found a nice tracking trip on the outside. We turn into the stretch. Major Dude has already made a 3-wide bid to the lead. Here comes I'm Very Busy on the outside. And friends, tell me us what you think here on the YouTube comment section on the channel. Isn't I'm Very Busy just going right by this horse right now? Give Major Dude some credit. They look each other in the eye. Major Dude says, I'm going to beat you.
Yeah, he just denies this horse at the end. He keeps finding gamely. He's going to turn I'm Very Busy away, and he's actually sort of edging clear of that horse to the wire. I mean, I guess you would just have to say, Dan, that he handled the switch to turf just fine. This is a horse who was, really professional early in his career on dirt. I thought he carried that over to turf last time. And he's, got one of those Phipps female families, Dan. They can run on anything. Distance is no problem. This horse is far from impossible in here.
But it was yielding turf. Maybe he liked it. Maybe the runner-up did not. Gaslight Dancer is up next. He could be one of the pace presences, even though he draws a tough outside post position. We saw him beaten as the favorite in the Futurity in that blanket finish. He was up close to the pace that day. He's likely going to be up close to the pace yet again, but post 14, he might have to work to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess drawing the outside post may seal his fate a little bit. I would be at a big price. I'd be willing to stay positive on him. I can't say that I love the Futurity as a race overall, but I also don't know that I loved them cutting him back to 6 for that race, because I thought his debut at Kentucky Downs over a 7 that plays longer, I thought he was really impressive winning that day.
Top pick time for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, race number 10 on Friday. You're going with Silver Knot. He's my second pick. I'm going with the Europeans, Victoria Road on top. But Silver Knot, Mike, has faced top competition, and he's going out for an unbelievably high percentage barn.
Yeah, those are all the reasons I took him for the most part. And I also, again, I'm just not really sold on any of the American-based horses. I'm just not sure how good any of them are. And I sort of wanted to lean towards the Europeans in here.
Victoria Road's going to have to do it against better competition. I think that Group 3 was okay. This is a better field. I like him drawing inside. The key for me is the break. If he breaks and settles in behind the lead, I think he'll be in with a big chance turning for home. He just seems to have turned the corner in his last 3 starts. 4-8-1-2 for Mike, 1-4-9-14 for me. Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, race 10 at Keeneland. It concludes the Breeders' Cup action on Friday. Good luck.